Hello there, everybody. Welcome to week 10 of the Madden 26 NFL season. Of course, I am your host, Cooper Porter. This is the first ever recap because it's really the only one that really matters. I'll do another one next week, but this is the week 9 recap in terms of trades, free agents, and other big drama. So, I'll see you then. To start off week 9 of the trade deadline, or just week 9, the Buccaneers released wide receiver Raheem Jarrett. Now, Jarrett, I'm pretty sure, has had a decent year so far, and respectable move. Now there is also other things, but to start off week 9, the San Francisco 49ers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers released Raheem Jarrett. Then, afterwards, the Buccaneers also signed free agent defensive tackle Jarran Reed to a 1-year, $5.97 million contract. So, okay. Now we're going to do the trades. Not a major trade by any means, but a trade nonetheless. The Bears traded running back Roschon Johnson to the Bills and the Bills traded right edge AJ Epinesa to the Bears. Sorry if I butchered that name. And the Bears gave up a 5th round and a 7th round pick. Now, what do I think? Who do I think won this trade? Personally, in my personal opinion, I think the Bears did. I don't really know much about AJ Epinesa, but I've never heard of Roschon Johnson. 5th and 7th round pick. Not really going to do much for you, but still is pretty good. Then, the Falcons, in a move, traded Mike linebacker J.D. Bertrand to the Browns. And in return, the Browns get strong safety Rashawn Jenkins. And in return, the Falcons get strong safety Rashawn Jenkins. And the Falcons also trade a 4th and a 7th round pick. So, pretty decent deal. I'll say the Browns won it. But yeah. Now this one I didn't expect to happen. But the Buccaneers traded Trey Palmer to the Steelers. And the Steelers traded Jonnu Smith to the Buccaneers. So, didn't even play a full season in Pittsburgh. But the Buccaneers traded a 4th and also a 7th round selection for Jonnu Smith. So, kind of makes sense. So, I can kind of see that. And then we have the Falcons releasing defensive tackle Daquan Graham. And the Falcons then signed free agent Mike linebacker Jalen Smith to a 1-year, $1.42 million contract. And the Bills released right edge Jamari Croma, and then they replaced their running back. Roschon Johnson with Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert to a pretty cheap deal. 1-year, $680,000 contract. Steelers then released wide receiver Scott Miller. The Steelers signed from another team's practice squad tight end Benjamin Urasek to a 1-year, $1.3 million contract. So, pretty respectable. Now, Isaac Yiadom gets released. Corner DB Chiefs. And then the Chiefs end up signing DB JT Woods to a 1-year, $1.6 million contract. So they just kind of switched around their cornerback room. Then the Bills, in a surprise move, released defensive tackle Ed Oliver. But they got Mozzie Smith from the Cowboys. And the Cowboys traded a 4th round pick for the Bills' 5th round selection. They also got Ed Oliver. So, pretty decent deal. And then the Cowboys went out and traded Chuba Hubbard to the Steelers, for Caleb Johnson and Patrick Queen. Now, I don't really think that this was a good trade. I mean, you trade away Chuba Hubbard, and then you got Caleb Johnson and Patrick Queen in return. And then a pretty surprise move by the Broncos. They trade away R.J. Harvey for a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth-round selection. 2027 second, 2027 third, 2028 fourth, 2026 fifth. So that's great. Cowboys released Mike linebacker Jalen Walker. And if you can't tell, this is my team. I'm the one controlling them. And the Cowboys also released Mike Kenneth Murray Jr. So, did not really expect that. Then the Cowboys signed free agent Jonathan Mingo to a 1-year, $2.75 million contract. And then immediately after, they released him. Then they signed him. Then they released him. Then they signed him. They wouldn't let me have him, okay? And then another surprise trade here. The Cowboys getting another rookie, trading for Shamir DK from the Titans for a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and also seventh-round selection. And they also released right edge Dante Fowler. And the Steelers signed Kenneth Murray Jr. to a 1-year, $1.99 million contract. Then the Chiefs immediately released DB Woods after one game. And then the Chiefs signed free agent Isaac Yiadom to a 1-year, $0.88 million contract. Now, I'm not 100% sure what they were doing here. So they released a guy, signed another guy to replace him, then released that guy, and then signed the guy that they released in the first place. So, what did you get out of that? Eagles signed right guard Sal Wormley to their practice squad. Eagles also signed free agent defensive tackle Devon Hamilton to a 1-year, $3.32 million deal. And, yeah, that is it for the Week 9 recap. Now, let's look at some other things. So, we're going to have some re-signed guys here. So, the Bears re-signed AJ Epinesa to a 2-year, $60 million contract. And the Colts, Then the Colts re-signed full safety Nick Cross to a 2-year, $9.49 million deal. Lions re-signed Marcus Davenport to a 1-year deal, $6 million. Patriots re-signed Marcus Jones to a 2-year, $50 million contract. Chiefs re-signed DB Jalen Watson to a 2-year, $12.8 million contract. Dolphins re-signed defensive tackle Brian Bracey to a 2-year, $17.1 million deal. And then the Lions re-signed Aiden Hutchinson to a 3-year, $103 million deal. That makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, from what I know. And then the Packers re-signed Zach Tom to a 3-year, $73 million contract. He's a right tackle. Good job. And the Ravens re-signed right edge Odafe Oweh to a 2-year, $28.4 million contract. Now, you may be wondering, okay, well, what is this all for? Well, this is not real life. Okay, this is all Madden. So then DaRon Bland re-signed 3-year, $61.5 million contract to the Broncos. Then Nick Bonito signed to a 2-year, $45.3 million contract. And then all these other re-signs like Trey Smith, Justin Simmons, David Njoku, Zay Pacheco, Marquise Brown, Brian Cook, Dax Hill, Asante Samuel Jr., all these guys. Pretty crazy deals here. But yeah, this is for the re-signed. Now, if we look at the traded here, now let's look at the retired. No retirees, no positions have been changed. Is a lot of releases. There isn't a lot of releases. Max Duggan got signed to the Browns practice squad. Bumper Pool got signed to their practice squad. Now, if we look at the NFL standings, in the AFC, the number 1 seed is the Chargers. And in the NFC, the number 1 seed goes to the Lions. So, good here, 7-1. Lions are 7-1. So yeah, we got pretty competed matchup for both of those. Now let's look at stats here. So, pretty big stats from this year, mainly from Joe Milton with 4,504 yards to 48 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. That just insane. That's an insane performance. Then he's the lead leader right now by almost 2,000 yards. Joe Burrow's right behind him with 2,896 yards. Only threw one pick this whole entire season though, so good job him. And overall, the quarterback with the least amount of passing yards is Desmond Ridder with 87 passing yards. Then Derrick Henry leads the league in rushing with 803 yards. Receiving wise, CeeDee Lamb leads the league along with George Pickens. 1,100 yards exactly for George Pickens and 1,581 yards for CeeDee Lamb. Now let's look at the games. Here. Week 9 kicked off with Thursday Night Football with the Ravens losing to the Dolphins in Miami 27-20. Then the Bengals beat the Bears 38-10. The Lions beat the Vikings 31-17. Then the Chargers come out and beat the Titans 10-7. The Giants beat the 49ers. The Broncos beat the Texans. The Falcons beat the Patriots. The Packers beat the Panthers. The Steelers beat the Colts. The Jaguars beat the Raiders. The Saints surprisingly beat the Rams. And the Cowboys beat the Cardinals 69-28. The Seahawks beat the Commanders 24-10. Chiefs beat the Bills 20-14. And stay tuned because my Week 10 predictions are coming in right now. So to kick off the week, prime time, Raiders and Broncos. I'm going to have to take the Broncos on this one, just by an overall football team, record, all that stuff. Then in the first ever NFL Berlin game, the Colts is going to go home with it. And then in this game, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to say the Bears. I'm going to say the Bears win. I'm going to take the Browns over the Jets. That's Patriots. The Bucks are going to beat the Patriots. The Bills are going to beat the Dolphins. The Ravens are going to beat the Vikings. The Panthers are going to beat the Saints. The Texans are going to beat the Jaguars. Seahawks are going to beat the Cardinals. I'm going to have to take 49ers. 49ers are going to beat the Rams. Lions are going to beat the Commanders. The Steelers are going to beat the Chargers. And then the Eagles will beat the Packers. So, I hope you enjoy this edition of, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the NFL Report. And I'll see you next week. Don't miss it. Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Have a good day. Goodbye.